Got Frank Palangi here in the studio. How's it going, Frank?
Not too bad, man. What's going on?
Not too much. So we get this started here. Let's start from the beginning. When you started playing music, what led you to be a musician?
I started playing guitar at 13, and pretty much I seen the movie The Crow, and I'm like, man, what's that thing that guy's playing? I'm like, I want to pick that up, and I want to start to play it. What is it? It was electric guitar, of course.
Right.
But that's really what inspired me to pick up a guitar, and I started, learning stuff from like Ozzy, Metallica, and 80s metal, Creed, Godsmack, and so that's kind of like my roots and stuff from like middle school.
Yeah, the old school rock. Yeah, very nice, very nice. And you play a bunch of different instruments, you said? Uh, what kind of instruments do you play?
I play guitar, bass, drums, little keyboard. I sing. Basically, like when I used to have like my friends and stuff in high school come over, they leave their instruments at my house. So basically, I started to kind of just pick them up at my spare time and started playing them here and there, and that's kind of how I started to learn drums, and bass was obviously easier than guitar, but it was cool. They let me use their stuff. So
And then one day you just decided to play a show and just went from there?
yeah, we actually I had my band in high school. We played a place in Lake George, which is farther north from up here, and we decided to do a few band shows and stuff and try it out. And I did all the high school talent shows starting out, and but from there, like after I graduated, I started playing acoustic shows. I started playing in like bars and restaurants, cafes, and just trying to get a little experience and stuff. And I've always recorded everything myself as well, so I've had a wide variety of stuff since I was younger.
Where have you played shows at? I mean, you're in New York, right? That kind of area?
Yeah, yeah, I'm more in upstate New York, not New York City.
Okay. And you play any legendary venues or anything up there?
I wouldn't say there's any legendary venues. There's some popular ones. I got to open up for quite a few national acts, and there's like Upstate Concert Hall. There's SPAC. I played at the Egg. A lot of people know the Egg here in Albany. There's a few other spots I haven't hit yet, but I've been past couple of years have been awesome. I've played with like Fuel and Trapped and Hurt, Young Guns. This year I played with Three Doors Down and Aaron Lewis and Power Man 5000, and
Wow.
yeah, I'm gonna be playing with Buck Cherry coming up soon, and so
When's
there's a
the,
lot of
sorry to
stuff.
interrupt you, but when's that show at, and where is that going to be held?
That's December 16th. It's Upstate Concert Hall here in Clifton Park, and tickets are $20. I think doors open at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's me, Charm City Devils, and Buck Cherry, and there's a band playing before me as well. I can't remember where they're from, but I always submit for festivals. I haven't gotten into one yet. The only one I have played is the Uproar, and that was with Alice in Chains and Jane's Addiction were the headliners.
Nice.
So actually, I won that, and I got to play that. That was awesome. There was like 2,000 people there or something that day. It was a good show, and I book month to month. The way I make my living is I play a lot of like these cover shows. So I'm playing at different bars and restaurants, and I do the original stuff as well. But I don't really I can't really say what's going to happen for this summer. As I get gigs and as I book them and as opportunities come up, because the national gigs are only as you can get them type gigs.
Right.
It's hard to plan, but I do want to be more of a supporting act and do say a couple more gigs with one certain national act and travel around a bit. I've been to like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, obviously New York, um, but to go farther than that is hard on a limited budget and what they offer.
Some of the songs that you produce, like Hope or Falling 2, sounds to me that you speak from the heart, like it's very soulful. You got this tone with your vocals though that makes it the casual feeling, like a contemporary feel to it, but also just a little bit of grit and grime to make it have that extra edge to it. I just was wondering if there's anything in your life that happened that maybe triggered you to be able to reach that much raw soul with your music, because that's a hard thing to do.
I think it's always, I think a person has it or doesn't have it. You know, each person writes differently. I write from like I feel it in me. Like I don't know how to describe it, but when I play music, you know, I feel it and I write from within me. You know, I write from experiences or on certain subjects. You know, things maybe some people went through, but it's that and it's my brain. You know, I'm so like I'm very creative because I've always been into movies and you know how like movies are made and behind the scenes and even down to like the way something's mixed and all that kind of stuff. So it's a very like organic process in a way, but you know it's you have to be real. I mean, I think there's a lot of people that have made it. They're talented, but it just seems kind of a little more fake. Like you can't
Bland,
feel it,
yeah. There's nothing to it.
and you can call it, I guess, more serious if you want to. You know, it's like I'm not gonna sing a bubblegum type song.
Thank you for not
uh,
doing that, by the way.
yeah, I mean, even if I did, it'd be a serious bubblegum song. But you know, I was gonna use Johnny Cash as an example. Like you listen to his music and you know it's there's this inner thing working in there, you know. And it's honestly for me it's just been practice. I just practice and practice and practice and years of, you know, trial and error
Right.
and doing a lot of good stuff. But there is a certain sound, you know, I like a certain rock type sound and I'm like even when I'm listening to some of my influences, like some songs, like what I want to feel is not in there. I'm like, man, if I can just kind of convey that, you know, and in some of my songs, like in Hope and stuff, you know, it's such a strong, positive type tune, you know.
Talk about when does the point where you guys started getting magazine coverage and airplay? I noticed you're on a bunch of stations. There's a lot of magazines that um, did reviews for you and had some quotes for you and what.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get random emails now, just people wanting me, whether it's to buy on to their magazine or they just want to do a feature or story or something on their social media. I've been more lucky lately with that sort of stuff, but it all started back in like 2008 or so. I did a demo record that I sent out, and I got you know a little bit of press on that, but nothing like being in Guitar World. Past 2 years, Guitar World has done some features on the internet on me with some of my releases. And you know, there's been Revolver, there's been various other online magazines. There's like I don't know what you call it. I noticed there's a lot of you know indie music magazines now. Like I was on the cover of Music Now magazine. There's Young
Young
Celebrity.
Celebrity, the Examiner too, and then you guys you
Yep.
were also on the top 40 charts. You had some coverage on your local news over there too, didn't you?
Yeah, we had Fox 23. You know, came to my house and they did a thing on. I'm trying to remember what it was about. Blanking out here. They did something, and that was cool. You know, I've had a lot of local press here. You know, from all the newspapers and stuff. And recently we were on up in Plattsburgh, New York. We were on the TV network for about 2 weeks up there with some live performance footage playing like every day at a certain time, and they'd repeat it. You know.
Is it just you, or do you play with the band when you do live shows, or do you just do the acoustic stuff?
Yeah, it's just me. I mean, a lot of the guys I work with are all like professionals in the industry, and
Right.
you know, I've had where you know I did the live band set. You know, I do the acoustic sets. I've even played to a recording as well. Almost like how the pop artists do it with the recording, but it's not pop. You know,
Right.
it's rock music.
Completely different. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the that show you had? What was it? I think you played with the Day of Fire. Uh,
I didn't play with them. I actually got to meet them, and they like my music, so they got a hold of their producer. A couple of days later, the producer called me and said, we should get you down to Tennessee here, and I'll produce your stuff, and Day of Fire will be your session players, and we'll mentor you and
Oh,
work
okay.
with you. And so they were one of my influences. So to go down and work with them, and especially I've never been to Tennessee, and that's a whole experience. Nashville is like a whole music mecca in itself. So with everything, that's where it started with me, like back in early 2010, and that's when like my quote unquote, like the serious type career came in, saying, listen, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try to start to make a name for myself. I'm gonna do it more seriously than what I have been,
Right.
and take these guys' advice. I told the singer Josh Brown, and he was in Full Devil Jacket. He was on like the Scream 3 soundtrack. He was quite a few different places. I go, I'm always going to take your advice, but I go, I'm going to take 50%, put my other 50% into it. He'd always kind of be like, I don't know about that.
You picked up some endorsements, haven't you, with some companies? Um,
Yeah, it's
like Spectre guitars and whatnot, right?
yeah, Spectre's in-tune guitar picks. There's a whole line of some stuff on my website, and a lot. I tell you, folks, endorsements aren't what they're cracked up to be.
Yeah.
But some of them are more like sponsorships. Some of them are more, you get like percentages off and put your name on the websites, um, and then some of them, do more. And as you grow, they're going to use your name more. Maybe they're going to ask you to say, say you were in a Guitar World magazine thing. They'd say, you know what? Why don't you use our guitars in that picture that you're going to send to them?
Right.
And so you start to cross promote more, I guess.
Anything from fans that really stuck with you that maybe kind of helped you progress a little?
Yeah, I get all sorts of different comments. Some of them most of them are good. Some of them I get, they're a little weird, or I get the typical like, "Oh, you're so cute," or "Your music's good," and the guys are like, "Dude, I love the rock and roll riffs." And
Nice.
I keep the best ones in usually some of my websites stuff, some of my reviews. Like, hold on a second. One of my fans she has cancer, and she goes, now a part of my kicking ass cancers playlist. She goes, we just got to keep going. Thank you for the inspiration. I am ready. Um, there's some that write a few things, or some that write like a paragraph long of stuff. But they always, what I gather is they like the live performances. They say I have a lot of energy, but my music really, like one of them here, it says, inspires me to love, believe, and have a good time with my friends.
Do you have any plans for the future besides your, gigging here and there? And are you gonna work on some more music, or you got any?
Yeah, I just released Falling 2 last week, and that's my main single. I released Open Falling 2 this year. I have two more singles I finished, and I have plans to record one more. Um, a lot of people are asking me, like, when are you going to release another EP? And I really would want to, but it's a lot more money, and for me right now, it's more simpler to do like a song at a time.
Right.
And
Just
I have it's kind of like 3 Days Grace meets Power Man 5000, like one of the tracks. And the one project that I'll be doing, I can't announce right this yet, but I'm going down to Virginia to work with a guy from a famous rock band. They're as big like as like a say like a Nickelback or something like that. But we're developing one song now. And we haven't released any of the news yet because we're working on the dates and all that kind of stuff. But that will be coming out. If you guys want to keep checking back on my sites and stuff,
yeah,
you definitely hear
keep
about
tabs on
it.
that for sure. Now, I heard somewhere you won. What was it? 2013. You won the Uproar Festival. Do you want to talk a little about
Yeah, that
that?
was the one festival that I played. Uproar is like this, big festival. It's like hard rock music and stuff. And I actually beat it out with I was the only solo guy, but I beat out three bands for the chance to open up for it. So they had the they had the contest at Upstate Concert Hall, and there was a couple of bands there, and it was just based off of how many people you brought in, and it was through Q103, which is the area's rock station, and it was the one time because I've been doing a lot of these contests and I never have really won, and this is the one time where I was like, I won, and I'm like, this is gonna be awesome because SPAC is it's a huge outdoor amphitheater, like it can hold I don't know how many people, like 15,000 people or something like that. It's huge.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
But it's there was a couple of different stages. Like I didn't play the main stage, but I was still a part of it. There was still a couple thousand people there because it was early in the day. These festivals go from 2 o'clock to all the way to 11. But I had a fun time. Everybody was awesome. I got to hang out with Dave Navarro from Jane's Addiction. I was talking to him and the guys from Alice in Chains, and it was pretty cool.
It's going into that kind of festival. I mean, like all these big names are around you, and you're like, okay, so I'm gonna be playing at the show with all these, famous and tremendous artists. I mean, I'd be pretty nervous as a musician to step up to that. So for you to do so well in such a what do you call it? Kind of like freaked out environment. It shows a lot that you can pretty much hold your ground with a big show. So you should be ready to keep doing that and keep playing more festivals. And, and
I definitely plan to, and I definitely will. It's for me, it's more easier playing for a couple thousand people than it is for like five people. Um, I don't know if it's because of the energy or I describe to people you can't really stare at one person. Like there's so many people like that, and I'm looking out. Like I look at people, but I can't really focus on one person, and maybe that makes it easier. But you just gotta have confidence to go up there and be like, I know my set, I know my song, I know who I am. I know there's people that obviously like the headliners and stuff. They've sold millions of records. They've been on MTV. They've done so much stuff. But you gotta focus on your set and not be nervous.
right, right.
Yeah, especially when you sing. I mean, you could be nervous and play bass and still be good. But if you're nervous and you sing, your notes and stuff are gonna be a little weird. I've seen it. It's happened to me. Like I did one song and my hand was trembling so bad I could sing, but I couldn't quite play the first song. And then as I kept playing, I was all right. But with that one show, actually, when I played "Thank You," like a feeling came over of me of like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. And I was thinking the audience, and I almost started to cry, believe it or not. And I had to hold myself back and it was just like a surreal moment. Like this is what I want to do, and I'm finally here. Playing in front of all these people.
Any moments where it was like a funny moment where something happened weird on stage, like someone throws a shoe at you or anything? I mean, I've been to
Never
a
got
lot of shows. I always see something happen. So
yeah. No, I've been lucky. Nothing's thrown at me. Nothing. Um, I don't know. Weird. I haven't experienced anything weird. One guy I think swore at me once, and I'm like F me, and I go no, I go F you or something like that. And I was really pissed off. But um, afterwards he goes, no, dude, I wasn't swearing at you. He goes, I was just. They deny it after because I don't know why. But like, no, you're cool. You're cool. Don't worry about it. How many beers did you have? I don't know. Some guys that have come up and oh my god, you are so good. I mean, it sounds so good. And they keep going. You're so good. They're talking to you, and your breath smells terrible. Oh my god. And they get their arm on your shoulder. Let me tell you, bud, you're a good guy. I tell you. It's like, oh, like I appreciate it, but whew.
everybody. I always see people go up to the band before when they're setting up and doing their tuning and stuff. It's really hard to tune when you have 8 people talking to you.
I think that's the most annoying. Like you're trying to set up equipment and you're focused to be like, okay, if I can just get this set up, then after I can focus on starting to do my set. So you're like in this mode. And some people come up to you, they keep talking and talking, and I've gotten the keen to just kind of say, yep, yeah. Well, that's kind of you kind of have to roll with it a little bit, or I just say, listen, I gotta focus and talk to me after the set or when I take a break or something.
Right. Buy me a beer maybe during the show. Just wait until I
But
get
actually, I
set.
don't drink, so a lot of people that buy me stuff, I'll just give it to somebody else.
Oh, that's cool. At least it doesn't go to waste.
Yeah, yeah, because it's I'd hate to waste it on them type thing. And I say, if you want it, you can drink it for me.
Right.
Like I do take it serious, and I'm like, I do have fun, but at the same time, it's a serious thing, and I even like the guys I play with, I don't tolerate, somebody like getting drunk or if they were to do like the other things, and stuff. They gotta be, they gotta be focused and not goofing around. It's a double-sided coin because, like you were saying, even when I play with a band, it's still my name up there. So whatever they do represents me, and can come back to you. Be like, your guitarist was, an idiot. He was doing this, and he's doing all that, and it was bothering me, and he ends up doing something to or who knows.
Okay, so there goes 15 or 16 years down the drain by one guy goofing off, and making you look bad. Gotcha. Well, where can we find your music? You what, CD Baby, Spotify, all that stuff?
Yeah, you can go to frankpalangi.com. I'm on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify. I'm on all the social media networks. You just type in my name, Palangi, and I accept all my friend requests. I always talk to all my fans, and even just people that are browsing. Like I get some people that add me that they're kind of like, oh, I just added you because whatever reason, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool, and we start to talk to them about music and different things, and fans come first, though. I always make sure, especially at the shows, like the second I'm done with my set, I'm jumping over to that merch booth and grabbing some pictures and talking with everybody.
Nice.
And that's the way you got to do it, because I've seen even some of these national guys, like I won't name names, but they don't do anything ever. And I'm like, how can you just play a set and leave and never talk to anybody?
Right. That's one of my pet peeves is when I go to a show and a band should stay for the other bands, just even a little bit if they could, just to show some respect and yeah, and like you said, talk to your fans. That's the biggest thing. Without your fans, all you are is a guy playing a guitar and singing, basically.
It's true, and it's people get to know you, and if they get to know you and they like you, then they're gonna wanna add you on Facebook. They're gonna wanna maybe buy a T-shirt or something, something, and it's always good to be personable, and you make connections and stuff. But I understand sometimes, like some of these bands, they have strict schedules. They're not allowed to do much. They got to play a show, go on their bus, and hit the next place. But some point, if it's not that tour, then your next tour, you should make time.
Right.
Well, I just appreciate you guys, having me on here, and
Yeah, of
there'll
course.
definitely be new music coming out, and just keep tracking me. I'm always up to something, so some good stuff will be happening here this next year coming up.
And if you guys are just
Yeah.
joining us, this is Frank Palangi, and announcing that you will be added to our top 20 artists for 2015, which get like all this big promotions and stuff. We try to cover everything possibly known to man for you guys, and do what we can to make sure people know who you are. Well deserved. From just talking to you, like if I didn't even hear your music, just hearing what you had to say about your music makes me want to listen to it. So that's always a
Oh,
good sign. And I wish you the best of luck on your journeys, and I'll talk to you soon. And thanks for coming on the show.
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hope